What's up, guys? Today I'm going to go over the new gyro version of the Jiabaile 143 scale little RC car. The original versions didn't come with a gyro, but now they finally came out with a version that has a little gyro installed right out of the box, so you don't have to mess with these original ones by adding an external gyro onto them. You can still go that route if that's what you prefer to do. I already made a video on the DasMikro V5 Gyro and adding one of these to one of the stock original versions, because at the time that was all we could do if we wanted a gyro on one of these little cars. So if you want a little bit more information on that setup, you can go back and watch my video on installing one of these. But if you don't want to deal with that kind of hassle, then you can go this new route of getting one that has a little gyro installed on the car already, which I will do a comparison video at the end where you can find out if you like the way it drives compared to, say, one with the DasMikro V5 Gyro installed. Because I'll throw this back onto one of these cars and then compare the two to see which one I like better and which one you may like better. But I guess the price difference, if you want to go that route first, would be this car is $30 plus about $10 shipping, or at least that's where I got it for off of AliExpress. So you're looking at about $40 right now for one of these. And then these old original versions, they kind of jumped up in price a little bit to closer to $30 now without a gyro installed and stuff. So, and with or without shipping, I think they're probably between $25 to $35 to get one of these with shipping, depending on who you get them from. But they were cheaper originally when I got them back months ago when they were like $20 to $25 a piece. But now I guess the demand has increased, so they increased the price of them. So they're a little bit more expensive. So you're looking at about $5 to $10 more to get this version than one of these versions. And to be honest, it might be the best option or the best route to go if you don't want to deal with adding an external gyro. Also, if you add one of these little DasMikro gyros, you're going to increase the price of one of these by about $20 to $25. So you're looking at $30 plus $20 plus, so somewhere between 50 and 60 bucks now to get one of these going with one of these external gyros, compared to like the $40 version that you're going to get with the gyro already installed. Now, this gyro is not the same as the DasMikro. There are differences. There's pros and cons. I'll let you decide on if you like it better or not. The only problem with the DasMikro gyro is that it can't utilize its full potential on one of these little boards, the main electronics that come with the car on the original version, because it doesn't allow you to go past about 30% gains to get the kind of performance out of this gyro you should be able to get, unless you swap out for like a different ESC and receiver, and then you could probably push the gains 60-70+% to get better performance out of that gyro. So that's something to keep in mind, is that it's actually the performance of this board is actually held back by the stock electronics. So I'll go over the difference on the box and the transmitter and stuff. So the box just comes with a sticker that says gyro. Otherwise, the box is exactly the same as the original ones. And they just put a little G right there in the checkbox. So that's why I didn't do an unboxing of this one, because it's exactly the same as the original versions. They come with the same little USB, the wheels and the cones. It's all the same as the original. The only other difference they made was the transmitter is slightly different now. I mean, they really are the exact same transmitters. All they did was change the hazard button for the hazard lights to a gyro knob. So you have to sacrifice the hazard lights, the flashing lights on the original, to get the gyro knob on the new gyro version. So I don't think you can get the hazard lights working now on this new gyro version. So you have to give that up to have this little gyro knob on the transmitter, which, I mean, it's fine with me if you have to sacrifice that. I'd rather have the gyro knob on the transmitter right here than the hazard lights. Those didn't really matter that much to me. But otherwise, the transmitter is exactly the same as the original version, so that's how they, saved money by keeping the transmitter exactly the same as the old version. So the differences between the two on the actual main boards are very slight. So they moved some components around. So they moved that little component over to here, and then they swapped the servo and motor connectors around. So now the motor connector's here and the servo connector's there. The battery connectors are still in the same spot. And then they changed the little processing chip to a smaller one with more pins, because it's got to do a lot more work now to control the gyro compared to the original version. Didn't have to work as hard, so that's why they have one of these chips that doesn't have as many pins. It doesn't have to do as much work. And then the last difference is the antenna. The little external antenna was probably breaking off right here at the solder joint for people, so they decided to add it right into the PCB. So that little squiggly line right there, that's the new antenna. It's directly built into the board, so you don't have to worry about it breaking off or anything, and it should give you the same amount of range as this one did. So it's actually better that they did it that way. And if for some reason you wanted to add an external, you could just solder one right there on that little hole, and you can put one of these on there if you wanted to, but you won't need to. So here's a little gyro. They soft mounted it with some double-sided foam tape to kind of keep the vibrations from getting into it as best as they can. And then they soldered it on with these 4 little wires, which have a little braided casing around the wires. So if they touch anything, nothing shorts out. But I kind of just lift the wires up off the main board a little bit so they're not touching anything, just to keep electrical interference and stuff from getting into them, just in case. So you don't have to do that if you don't want to. It's just something I do. But yeah, that's all there is to it that they did for adding this little gyro. And I'm happy they put an external gyro on this this car instead of having it like built into the main PCB, because I feel like the performance of it would have been kind of crappy if they just built it into the board. It's nice that they actually made an external one that they soft mounted to the board. That's much better design than, say, building it right into the PCB. So I'm glad they did that. So technically this is an external gyro that they added to the car. It's not built into the board. So those are the main differences between the two. I'll just turn it on real quick. And from what I can tell, you can turn the gains up all the way to 100% and the car won't have any weird wobbles. Say kind of like the DasMikro V5, if you went past 30% or higher, then the car would have like some crazy wobbles while you're trying to drive straight, and it's like almost uncontrollable. So you can't really go past 30%, which is why the main stock electronics actually hold back this gyro from giving you its full performance. But this little gyro looks like it's able to go all the way up to 100% on the dial or the knob on the transmitter to give you the full 100% gains that this thing is capable of, which is nice. So it's tuned correctly for the car and the steering and everything. So you can mess around with the percent on the knob to where you like it. So when I got it, it was down around like 30 to 40%, but I messed with this car a little bit right when I got it, and I put it all the way up to 100%, and the car actually drove fine, didn't have any issues, it wasn't wobbling. So I'll do some test driving here at the end here to show you how it performs, and then I'll have it compared to one of the other cars with the DasMikro gyro installed, so you can kind of get an idea of which one you like better, if you want to go that route or if you want to go this route and save a few bucks. I'll let you make that decision. So let me just get this all set up and get the test driving ready, and then I'll show you how they compare next to each other. All right, so the first test will be with the new gyro version, and I'll be running the BMW body on it. So I'll show you how this built-in gyro that comes with the car performs, and then after this I will drive the R34 Skyline with the DasMikro V5 Gyro installed on that one. I did do a little rear suspension mod on both of them, which I will do a video on how I did it later on. It's not real suspension. It doesn't actually give suspension to the chassis or the wheels. It just gives suspension to the body from the chassis, which, you know, it's not really what I want, but it's better than nothing right now, and it's a really easy, quick thing to do if you just want something to help the rear end a little bit, because it is pretty stiff back here. Later on, I will try to do maybe a 3D print design or something to make these wheels actually have rear suspension. So later on, I'll do a video on that. So for now, let's just go over the gyro. First, I'll start with the gyro turned all the way off, so you can see how it drives without the gyro on, so you get an idea. And then I will turn the gyro up, you know, like 20-30% of the time. So this is on full speed. and it should be pretty hard to control, which it is. So there's a lot of oversteer, and it spins out really easy. So I'm going to turn the throttle down to halfway. So it's a little bit easier to drift with no gyro on when you turn the throttle down halfway. All right, so we'll turn the gyro up to about 30%. And it's on half speed. Now let's go to full speed. All right, let's move the gyro to 50%. Full speed. It's already better. Let's go to half speed. All right, let's go to about 70, 75% roughly, it looks like, on half speed. So full speed. All right, so let's go to 100% and on full speed. All right, let's go to half speed. All right, so not too bad. You know, I do like this new gyro. It's better than I expected it would be. So I'll drive the R34 now with a DasMikro V5 Gyro and see what you think of that one. I really can't adjust the gains on that one. while I'm driving it like I can on this one, because I don't have a little knob on the remote to be able to change the gains. And you can't really go any higher than 30% gain anyway on that little gyro, so it's just going to stay at one gain, you know, speed, and that's just going to be it. So, all right, let me switch over to that one real quick. Okay, so now the R34 has the DasMikro V5 Gyro installed, and it's at about 30% gain. I can't go any higher than that, otherwise the car will be unstable and I'm driving straight. So this is pretty much the highest I can get it for it to be stable. I'll drive it on full speed first, and as you can see, there's only hazard lights here. There's no knob for the gyro. So that's the difference between the two. So, and I also added a little bit of suspension on the Skyline as well. All right, let's get started. So let's go to half power now. All right, so this is tough to really see which one's better. I mean, I guess there's pros and cons to both of them. With the DasMikro V5 Gyro, you can set the gains for either slow return or fast return, which you can't do that on the one that's built in that comes with the gyro. That one has only one speed from 0 to 100%. Well, I can do about 30% with slow return, and then I can do 0 to 30% with like fast return. So that's like one thing you can do differently on this one than say you could do with the one that's built in that comes with the gyro. So that's something you might have to factor in. It seems like this one can, it seems like it's slower, like it's not as fast as say the Beamer was when it was at high speed and at half speed. It seems like this one drifts slower, but it is pretty smooth, so it's really hard to tell which one's better or which one I like more. So it might be just come down to preference. I don't know if it's worth spending the extra 10, 15 bucks or more to do the original version with the DasMikro in it. Like I said, if you don't feel like doing that extra work, then you might want to just buy the $40 version with the gyro built in, and then just take it out of the box and go. Otherwise, you're going to have to mess around with, you know, the original and put the DasMikro in yourself, which the connectors are not the same size, but like I showed in my other video on how to install it, you can actually force the connectors to fit. So that really comes down to what you want to do if you want to go that route. So that's basically it for this this test run and review of the new gyro version of the Jiabaile 143 scale little RC cars. I'll, you know, leave the decision making up to you which version you want to get. If you have any questions, just leave a comment down below, and I have a few more videos coming down the road on how to add some suspension on the rear, at least, you know, a little bit of suspension, and then I might do a mod later on with 3D prints and stuff to give it like real suspension. I'm also going to do a video where I disassemble one, where I show you all the interior of the car and, like, you know, its guts and stuff, like all all the parts underneath the main PCB board and in the chassis and everything. So just stay tuned for that. Once again, thank you for watching, and I hope to see you guys in the next one.